What's up, Math 8? Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Math with Mullins. Today we're looking at lesson 3.2, solving one-step inequalities. This will be the second lesson we've done on it. The first lesson, if you didn't catch it, it was solving using addition and subtraction. Today, though, we are learning how to solve one-step inequalities using multiplication and division. So let's get started. First thing that's super important to copy down is when you're graphing, it's easiest to have the variable first. We learned this yesterday and even the day before. It's easiest to graph if we have variables first, like x is greater than 9 or x is less than 10. If you ever have it reversed, like 10 is greater than x, you just want to reverse it where x is in the front. The other thing you need to remember is that anytime you multiply or divide by a negative, you must flip the inequality. We're going to see that quite a bit today, so let's go ahead and get started after you're done copying these two sentences in your notes. All right, starting with example 1, we have two examples here, solving and graphing. Let's start with the first one on the left-hand side. Right here, I see x is divided by 8. So to solve x is divided by 8, I need to multiply both sides by 8. When I do that, I get 8x over 8, which is nice because then those just cancel out. So all that's left is x, a greater than symbol, and then negative 5 times 8 is a negative 40. So as I graph this, I can put negative 40 in the middle. To the right, I have 0, and to the left, I have negative 80. I should have an open circle pointing to the right. The next one is written backwards. If you want to, let's go ahead and just rewrite everything where we reverse all of my order. So 1.5q would go first. I'm going to flip this greater than sign so that it's switching to less than, but notice because it's open to negative 18 on this side, I'm also making it open to negative 18 here. Now I can clearly see how I'm supposed to solve it. Since 1.5 is being multiplied with q, I'm going to divide both sides by 1.5. On the left side, you're doing 1.5 divided by 1.5, so those are going to cancel out nicely. So all that's left is q is less than negative 18 divided by 1.5 is negative 12. So as I graph this, negative 12 should be here in the middle, 0 to the right, and negative 24 to the left. Q is less than negative 12 means an open circle pointing to the left. Now we're going to get into some where we're going to have to flip our inequality symbol. Before we do that, we want to make sure it's written correctly. And unfortunately, this first one is not. So let's go ahead and rewrite it. So I'm going to have y over negative 3. And notice the inequality symbol is open to the y negative 3. So we're going to open it to the y negative 3 here. And then on the other side, we'll have 2. Now, back in the very beginning of these notes, it says, when you multiply or divide by a negative, you must flip the inequality symbol. We are about to multiply or divide by a negative here because there is a negative with the variable. Okay, so because there's a negative with the variable, I will have to multiply by negative 3 to get my answer. Again, because I'm multiplying by a negative, I will flip this inequality. So now it's not going to be greater than, it will actually flip to less than. So I have y, because these 3's will be 3y over 3, which is equal to 1y, is less than negative 6. Now when I graph it, negative 6 is here in the middle, 0, and then negative 12. We should have an open circle pointing left. The same thing is going to happen over here. In order to solve this, I need to divide by a negative. Notice that there's a negative with the variable, so that means I'm going to have to flip because I'm multiplying or dividing by a negative. So less than or equal to will change to greater than or equal to, so my answer will be y is greater than or equal to a positive 5. On our number line, 5 would be in the middle, 0 is to the left now, and 10 is to the right. Greater than or equal to means a closed circle pointing to the right. How about you take a moment and pause for number 3, see if you can try these on your own, and when you're ready to check them, click play. All right, hopefully the first thing you saw in number 3 is that you might have wanted to rewrite this question. So I'm going to rewrite it as 3x is less than or equal to negative 24, still writing the original problem where the inequality symbol is open to the negative 24. To solve, I will need to divide by 3 on both sides. As I'm dividing by 3, the 3's on the left cancel out, so all that's left is x. I do not need to flip the inequality symbol because I'm not dividing by negative anymore, so that inequality symbol will stay the same, and I get negative 8. So as I graph it, negative 8 is here in the middle, 0 is to the right, negative 16 to the left. Less than or equal to means closed circle, pointing left. For this one over here, you did notice that there was a negative with a variable, so that means I'm dividing by a negative. Because I'm dividing by a negative, my entire inequality symbol will flip. R is now less than or equal to a positive 11. So as I graph, 11's here in the middle, 0 to the left, 22 to the right. Less than or equal to means, again, closed circle, pointing left. Number 4 has a fraction, so let's revisit this a little bit. Remember, when we see fractions, we're going to end up multiplying by the reciprocal. The reason is because normally when we see a multiplication question with the fraction, we always want to divide, but whenever we divide by fractions, we always do keep, change, flip. So right now you see me rewriting the entire question. Negative 1/10 z is less than or equal to 1. And in order to get this one correct, I'm going to multiply by the flipped fraction, negative 10 over 1 on both sides. Because I'm multiplying by a negative, I'm also going to flip. So I should get a greater than or equal to symbol. So z is greater than or equal to negative 10 over 1, which is just negative 10. As I graph, I have negative 10 here in the middle, 0 is to the right, and negative 20 is to the left. This should show a closed circle pointing to the right. The last two we have are 2 word problems. We're just going to write and solve. No need to graph these. You earn $20 per hour mowing lawns, and if you earned at least $185, that means $185 or more. How many hours did you mow? So the first thing I'm starting with is, I know I earned $185 and it's at least, that means greater than or equal to, and since I earned $20 per hour, I should show 20H. Next, I'm ready to solve it. Dividing both sides by 20 will help me find my answer. So all we have to do now is just do 185 divided by 20, which is 9.25. So you mowed 9 hours or 9.25 hours this weekend. You know at least that each pie has 8 slices and you need at least 50 slices. So again, at least 50 slices means at least greater than or equal to 50. How many pies are needed? Well, if I know that I need 50 slices and each pie has 8 slices, think about how you would try to solve this question. If I wanted to be able to find out the number of pies I needed, I'm going to need to divide by 8, right? Because that's going to tell me each pie. So if I'm dividing to find my answer, I would need to show multiplication in my original problem. That means when I divide both sides by 8, I would get x is greater than or equal to 50 divided by 8, which is 6.25. So I need 6.25 pies. That is going to conclude our notes for today on lesson 3.2, day 2. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next.